guys! So I wanted to get on here and make kind of an update video for you because there's a couple things to update on. First of all, I finally got in to see my doctor 2 days ago. And I didn't have a doctor, I just moved, if you guys don't know. So I didn't have a doctor yet. I finally got in once the referral went through, which took forever because there were issues, it was a mess. But got in to see him. I love my doctor. He is beyond awesome and the staff there is really nice. So I'm really happy with where I'm at. But anyway, so let me tell you a little story with what happened. Because it's kind of crazy. So I went in there and, you know, I knew that I had miscarried, so I didn't think that they would do like a urine pregnancy test or anything like that because, you know, I told them that I'd miscarried and they're like, oh, well, we're still going to treat you like, you know, a normal pregnant patient because you were and this and that, whatever. So I had drank about 1 liter of water before I went in there, not thinking they were going to do a urine pregnancy test. And just a blood test to make sure my levels were going down. And I'm a really hard stick, so I'm gonna have to make sure that I'm like super hydrated. Anyway, so I'm sitting there and, you know, I told the nurse that I miscarried and then, you know, like when and all that and whatever. So then she comes back in about 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes later. Sorry guys, we're having somebody come and paint our cabinets. Oh, we're getting an estimate, so they were calling to see if I could send them pictures and stuff. Anyway, the nurse came in and she was like, are you sure you had a miscarriage? And I was like, yes, pretty dang sure, why? And she was like, well, your pregnancy test is still very dark. And she's like, darker than what I would expect if you were 5 weeks and had a miscarriage. So I asked her if I could see it and she's like, yeah, sure. So she showed me and it was way darker than any test I ever got. So that was shocking because I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting, you know, my levels to be way, way down because I never thought that they got that high to begin with. So then, you know, they were kind of wondering if maybe I didn't have a miscarriage, if maybe I had been pregnant, or I did have a miscarriage, I was pregnant with twins and lost a twin, or if I just had, what is it called? Where you have a bleed around the placenta and the sac and all of that. I can't remember off the top of my head. I'm crazy today. My mind's everywhere. Since I was only 6 weeks, I would have been 6 weeks, 2 days when I went in. So the doctor did a full exam, did all that kind of stuff, and he, you know, we talked for a long time about my history and, you know, just everything. And he was so thorough and so he listened, and I loved that. He actually took me seriously, which is what a lot of doctors don't do. So I really appreciated that. And he took all my concerns seriously. And he had set up an ultrasound for Monday to see what it said, but they also drew my blood to take my HCG levels, my progesterone levels, do all that stuff. But it takes 24 hours to get all of that. So, you know, I was kind of in limbo for a little bit there. But what he did do, and I really appreciate this, is that he told me, he's like, you know, he asked what kind of progesterone I had been on when I was with Jonathan, and I said that I was taking the oral progesterone, and he was like, you know, I really don't want to put you on that because it's not as good. If you guys are TTCers or had, you know, have had infertility issues, pretty much all know that oral progesterone isn't as effective as a suppository or as the injections, which is why they're the least prescribed if you really need it. Just because it's not filtered the same way, it filters out through your body and you don't absorb as much of it when you take it orally. So he was like, I really want to put you on the progesterone suppositories until we know for sure what's going on. And he was like, and then, you know, if this isn't a viable pregnancy, you will have them on hand. So the minute you find out you're pregnant, you can start using them. If you can't get into our office right away, you know, you'll have them. So he looked up where I could, you know, like if I could get them, whatever, because he knew that I had TRICARE, which is a military insurance, and he knows that they're kind of finicky about that kind of thing, so he looked it up and they do not cover it at all. So he looked up the price and it was going to be $600 for 15 suppositories, which I would need a minimum of 30. So he was like, you know what, that's way too much. He goes, we're going to figure this out. So for the next hour, he was on the phone. Him and the nurse were trying to figure out, you know, if there was any kind of like off-brand or whatever. And then he couldn't really find anything, but he was like, I'm pretty sure there's a fertility specialist in town that had one pharmacy compound their own, and it should be a lot less expensive. So he ended up reaching that fertility specialist, who then told them which pharmacy it was, and he called them and they said that they had some. So he wrote me the prescription. I had to go to that pharmacy, and unfortunately they didn't have enough at the time, but the guy, they were really nice there though. They didn't have enough to fill, a 30 count prescription. So the pharmacist walked up to me and he was like, I'm going to just give you 4 of them. He goes, we'll compound them tomorrow or the next day, come back in and get the rest of it, but this will last you at least until then. So that was really nice. I still had to pay out of pocket when I went and picked it up, which I had to pick them up today, and I'm like, well, this is kind of depressing because I don't actually need them yet. But at least I have them for when I do need them, so I'm excited that, I have a doctor that's taking my concerns seriously and my issues seriously, and he said that it does sound like, if I was put on progesterone sooner, this may have been a better outcome. So he's very hopeful that we'll get pregnant again soon and that I can start using the progesterone right away. And, and I hope so too. It was kind of hard though, because I think the nurse was giving me more hope, because I feel like the doctor was like, yeah, with that much bleeding and everything, it does definitely sound like a miscarriage. But the nurse was like, you know what, your test is still really dark, and we've had people think they've had miscarriages and they haven't, and, so I was kind of hopeful. I mean, I had a little bit of hope, and then it was like it was just snatched away all over again, and that was hard because, 1 heartbreak is enough, but 2, that was rough. So yesterday wasn't a great day. I wanted it to be. I wanted to just not let it bother me because I'd already accepted things, but it was still hard to hear it again, but it's okay. I know it's going to be okay. I know that God's timing is perfect, even though that's really hard to be okay with sometimes. And it's hard too right now because James has a lot of training coming up, and then he's going to be deploying, and people keep asking when, and I can't really talk about when, guys, but he's just going to be gone a lot soon, and so the chances of us catching ovulation, it's not looking great at this point, but since I don't really ovulate super regularly, you never know. I mean, it could happen, it's just not looking super promising. But it is what it is. I can't change it. I know that what's going to happen is going to happen, and that's it. That's a hard place to be into because I have 0 control over any of this, and that's the life of TTCing, it's hard, it's rough. But yeah, anyways, I just want to let you guys know that I'm doing all right and things are going okay. Could be better, but could be a lot worse, so that's good. And I actually have a couple fun videos that I want to do here soon, so hopefully I can get those put together before too long for you guys, because I just want to do something more upbeat, because I know that these aren't super happy videos by any means, because it's not a super happy situation. But I'm trying to be positive, so I want to do some positive stuff and get pumped. I have so many things to look forward to. My friends are coming to visit soon. Jonathan and I are going to Alaska to visit soon. I have a friend up there. She's a great friend. She watches my videos. Hi, Alicia. She asked us to come visit, so she's flying us there, which is like amazing. So we're gonna go to Alaska next month. Super excited. And we just have a lot of really good things coming up. So I'm thankful and I'm blessed, and I know that. But anyway, guys, I hope you're doing great, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.